Yeah, today was a very significant ruling regarding the Assange case, which has been going on now for a number of years, a very elongated appeal against an extradition request that the US put in 2019. Today, the judges ruled that Assange can again appeal that extradition request. That was based on two grounds. The first was that they didn't believe that Assange was, they weren't satisfied by assurances that were given by the US government that Assange would be able to rely on the US constitutional right to freedom of speech because he is not a US citizen. As part of their assurances, the US government had said that he could seek to rely on that defence. However, as I said, the judges were not satisfied that that was enough to guarantee that he would be given the same rights to that defence as US citizens would be. Of course, Assange is an Australian citizen, and so that's where that differentiates. The other ground was that he would be potentially discriminated on based on his nationality, and that ties into that first ground again, that because he's an Australian citizen, he can't rely on the same defences as his US citizen counterparts if they were in the same situation as him. So he's been given another chance to appeal this extradition. He's had multiple avenues of appeal. This is yet another one. However, today could have gone very differently if the judges had decided that they were not going to grant his leave to appeal. Then the extradition would have gone ahead, and that would have been the end of his opportunities and his avenues here within the UK court system. So it's a significant ruling. It's another chance for Assange and his legal team to fight against this extradition request.
Michelle, do we understand exactly what this next court case is going to look like? Is it going to be before a full bench of the High Court? Will the arguments be similar?
We're still waiting to find out some more information. I believe it will be before a full bench, so this is another full appeal hearing. However, it will be based on a tighter set of arguments and on these grounds in particular, that because of his nationality as an Australian citizen, he won't be given the same rights to a fair and just trial as if he were a US citizen. So we believe that the scope will be narrowed to that. However, we don't know when such a trial will take place. We know that both sides, both the prosecution and the defence, have been told to provide a draft order by the end of this week, and if they can't agree, to provide some information as to what it is they can't agree on this draft order. So there will potentially know more after the end of this week as to what this will look like, when a trial may take place, when this appeal may be heard. As we know, this has been a very protracted legal battle, and it has gone on for years and years and years. So there's no rush, it seems, to bring this legal saga to a close. It could be later this year. It could be as in the early months of next year.
Yes, and of course he remains in jail as long as this goes on. So hopefully they can agree on that court date fairly soon.
Yes, so Julian Assange has been in the Belmarsh high security prison for more than 5 years now. Before that, he spent a number of years locked inside the Ecuadorian embassy. Of course, he went in there on his own accord, but it was because he had legal matters hanging over him that he was in that place. So really since 2010, he's been in some form of detention or arrest. He hasn't been a free man. So this is a case that has been going on for a long time. Last week, his legal team had flagged that there was potential that today the court could have made a decision to free him imminently, and he could have been made a free man. Of course, that didn't happen, but there was that as a suggestion. So they are hoping that this may come to an end sometime soon with this decision. It doesn't look like it'll be wrapping up in the short term. Again, Julian Assange is facing a number of charges in the US under the Espionage Act, and if he is extradited there and he's found guilty, then he faces a sentence of more than 100 years in prison. So if he is extradited to the US, then this legal saga will just continue on and on and on. So an end is not in sight, whether it's here in the UK or in the US. His hopes, or his legal team's hopes, that he may have been free today did not take place. In the background of all of this, there's also talk of potential diplomatic solution being discussed and being negotiated. So that's another avenue that we could potentially look out for, and that may help to bring this to a close.
Yeah, really interesting. Good stuff. Thanks, Michelle. Thanks for the updates.